Last 2 years, corporate governance has come under a lot of question when it comes to startups and the funding and some of the large startups which we were celebrating. And yesterday I met one of the founders who's going to be a unicorn soon. And he said that when he was raising money now, people are asking this question in US that, matlab India mein aise hi hota hai. And so in some way we have little bit regressed, no?
No, we are not regress. It's part of what happens in the market. But let me explain.
Huh.
Corporate governance is a culture and way of life for a business enterprise. Very simple. Corporate governance is a culture and way of life for a business enterprise. It's based on a very simple principle. The simple principle is, when you start a business enterprise, you put your money. So you are the owner.
Yeah.
So between the owner and the manager, which you are, is the same person. So whatever you do, the impact of that is felt on you. So you have full freedom to do what you want. It's your money. Nobody can question your money. You have to follow the law and all that outside, but it's your money. The moment you take 1 rupee into the cap table, you become a fiduciary agent.
Yeah.
A fiduciary agent means you have to take care of the investor's money as well as your money. You change from being a owner manager to a investor manager. That means your investment should be seen along with the money put in by others. You have the same sense of responsibility. Everybody should be equal. And you are a manager of that money. You are a fiduciary agent. You have to discharge your obligations to everybody, including to yourself as a investor. So there is a wall between capital and investment and management. And that's where it comes in. And that's the role of a fiduciary agent. Fiduciary means you become a trustee of the other.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's a big responsibility because somebody has trusted you, given money on what you have said, what you held out. And you have to keep your promise.
Yeah.
And you got to do everything. And that means that the distinction between that. So what does the distinction mean? The distinction means that you have to separate management and ownership. And you are the manager and owner only for a few days when you don the hat along with others. You have to treat all the investors equally and safeguard their money. You have to report to them constantly. And you must never use the money for personal purposes. So it is called tone at the top. How do you create a culture of governance with the tone at the top? And the leader or the founder has to lead all the way, and is leadership by example, because you have to live, walk, and talk. I'll give you some small example. You cannot put your personal bills on the company.
Yeah.
You cannot say, I go for lunch with my family and it's entertainment.
Yeah.
You cannot go for a holiday and take your wife and pay for her. And the third thing is, you cannot buy any asset with the company's money. And fourth is, you should not pay yourself the highest. That's what I believe. Okay? And fifth is, you should not get any special perks compared to others. It has to be a standard for everybody. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because it sounds very simple to you.
Yeah.
But that is the root of corporate governance, how you distinguish yourself from the investors and create structures. Now, for corporate governance to work, there are processes and structures. The first thing is the culture and the way of life. The second thing is the tone at the top and leadership by example, how you behave, because everybody is going to behave like you behave.
Yeah.
For example, Murthy traveled economy class for very long. So he never took his wife or family. He never put any personal bill there. We are very careful. And if we have to go somebody, your wife came and we shared double, we had to pay for that. All right? And we did all that. Okay?
Yeah.
And we followed the rules. That means if somebody could buy business, they travel business, but we never broke the rules. We never took more money for per diem when you travel abroad. We never did anything which was totally different. We all traveled in the same crappy cars. In the beginning, we stayed in the same crappy hotels. Okay? I mean, what they sacrifice, they sacrifice. We stayed there. Because you have to set an example. When you stand and talk before your people, people there who listen to you should believe you.
Yes.
They must not say, "Dekho, ye kya karta hai? Ye to udhar jaake cheta hai, hum to idhar hai." They must feel that you're walking the talk, you're one among them. That's how we inspire your troops.
Yes.
You like the Indian Army. Remember, in Kargil, there's a famous story told about this mayor who, went up. He clung on the walls for 2 days or something like that to go there. And when he was taken away from there by helicopter, he said, "Sir, ye dil mange more."
Ye dil mange more, sir. Ye dil mange more.
Now, that is leadership.
Yeah.
Leadership example.
Yeah.
The difference between the Pakistani army and Indian army is, Indian army has always had higher casualties for its officers. Because they led from the front. In the Pakistani army, the officers are from the feudal class. They stayed at the back and sent the poor little suckers to die for the country. You understand? Like
yes.
George Patton said. So you have to lead by example. And the body language has to be very clear. And you can't falter. And whenever there is a fork in the road, where you can take two paths. You have to be very careful that you take the right path.
Yes.
And once you show that culture, it permeates all through. Because culture in organization is about it. You, Shradha, in your story, you have to set the tone at the top. Your culture, what you do as a leader by example, everybody will follow.
Yeah.
Now, you become weak and say, one standard for you, one standard for that. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
I remember an analyst met me, and I used to meet 300 of them every year. He said, I went to this IT company, okay, big office. The CEO had 60% of the office. Then you're sitting down there. I went and sat in front of him. He was tapping his finger. I saw the big rock on his finger. And I thought to myself, oh God, that's my money. You understand?
Yes,
So,
yes.
so that is it.